going on, y'all? Check out this video from Upchurch. See what's going down in these streets.
I was like, no, this is today. 8:40. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is how it all went down this morning. At 8:40 a.m. this morning, I woke up and I was like, no, this is today. I called the FBI. I started filling out this form, like an IC3 or something like that. It's a link that they send you or whatever. I start filling this form out, and the form's got me thinking. And I was like, wait a minute. I was like, yes, I'm calling the banks real quick. And I said, hey, I need to see some of these statements because these invoices that I'm getting, they're being deleted from my email, and there has to be a reason why. So he's like, log in on your computer. I said, okay, I log in. I get in there. He's like, all right, look at these statements with me. I said, I can't. He said, why not? I said, because I'm restricted. I can't see anything. It's been like this forever. It's never been changed. He was like, what? Why? I said, I don't know. Wow. He said, you're the only one on the account. I said, okay, well, I don't know. He's like, well, that doesn't make any sense. He said, when did you make the account? I said, I didn't make the account. He said, what do you mean? I said, yeah. I was like, my manager hired this accounting firm called Wiles and Taylor, and they issued me the cards. He said, that's illegal. I said, what do you mean? He said, they're not allowed to make a card with your name on it. I said, well, they're in double trouble then because they made two of them. He's like, well, I only have this one account. I said, oh, no, there's another one from another bank called Pinnacle. He's like, oh, okay. Is your name on that one? I said, yeah. So you got these two accounts that are illegally.
What are y'all saying? It's called a gazebo. And the way you like the rain, you would love living in the state of Washington. Does it rain a lot? I would love that. If it rains every day, what? Heaven. Y'all know I love the rain. I didn't know it rains a lot over there.
Set up, right?
A gazebo, so I gotta look that up because I gotta make sure I get that. Gazebo. That's what it was called. Thank you. Oh yeah, yep. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Oh, that would be so nice in the backyard. My bad. Yeah, that looks fly. I would love that. There's some rain, man. I have a barbecue next to that.
I don't know this because I'm not a financial person, right? They give me these cards. Be loose in the financial people, right?
Thank you, Taurus.
This is why when I kept asking him, who hired you? He kept saying, I don't know. How do you know who didn't hire you? That's when he knew he was. I just didn't know how he was at the time. But after Be Loose mysteriously left, he slipped up and said he was still talking and doing business with Be Loose involving all these cards and stuff. And I said, well, you can't just talk to Be Loose. Why are you doing that? If he's not a part of my business, why are you talking to him? Keep in mind, Wiles and Taylor had these logins to this merch company, would not give them to me or Chad, kept keeping them from us and all this. So I was like, there's something with the merch. Like, what is up with that?
Well, this is what's up with the merch. They tried to frame Bethany as the merch and fan mail person.
Now, they had this quote unquote fan mail come into a P.O. box. Now, look where the P.O. box is listed at. So I said, when was it changed? He said, January 23rd, 2026. And I was like, really? Now, in retrospect, I call Pinnacle next. They say the same thing. They say the P.O. box was changed on January 23rd, 2026. I knew something was weird with the P.O. box because, well, one, you got to have two forms of ID to open a P.O. box. I've never opened a P.O. box in Nashville, but all of a sudden, Wiles and Taylor says, hey, you want your fan mail? You want your fan mail for the first time ever? Here, open this fan mail. No. Put it in a plastic bag. I've never opened it, and I'm not gonna because I got to give it to the FBI.
Mad smart. Got him. The hell are they doing out there?
But also, remember yesterday when the guy was freaking out about my ID? Telling me, you're all... No, I'm just asking for my ID. Well, now we know why my ID's missing. Now watch this. As I'm on the phone with the City National guy who's like there's a lot of weird over here. I'm like, yeah, there is. He goes, well, for security purposes, I cannot tell you the address. I said, I bet you I know what it is. He said, if you guess and you guess it right, then I can tell you. I said, 246 East Kingston Springs Road. He said, yes, that is what it was changed to. Over at Pinnacle, it was also changed to the same address. And here's the thing. They tried to frame Chad, and they tried to validate what they were doing by sending 2 brand new cards. I knew something was up, and I was like, no, I'm not activating these, because if I do, then that saves them from this P.O. box. Given that.
Yeah, that sounds mad suspect. That sounds sus as hell. Hey, what's up, Zen? I hope I'm pronouncing it right.
To the FBI as well. Then I was like, okay, how the was he able to do this? Here's a deleted email. Look what it says. From Zach Shrout. If you don't mind providing me with a non-Google linked login, I can update the card on file to one of Ryan's business cards. I'd appreciate it. Look who bought the domain to Music City Magic. Trevor. Well, here's a problem with that. I didn't sign off on that. It's an auto-pin. Now watch this. How do you get the other shit done? Well, he's talking to Otero, Walls and Taylor. Hey, heard you're a little under the weather from Otero. Hope you get to feeling better. Flagging another request that Chad and Amir are sending, once again trying to frame Chad. But it don't matter.
That's crazy.
Because you already tried to make a card for Chad, you slimy And you know what's funny? I didn't even agree to any of this, nor did I know about it. You know why? Well, because I never signed the paper, nor was I gonna. Now, how did somebody get my number and was able to text with it and get into my emails to delete it? Well, that's on Darius's body cam footage from the other night when Trevor admitted that he set up the phone we found. You think it don't get worse? It gets worse. Not for me, better for me. Look at this. Now, how did these guys take a loan out for Ryan Upchurch if I still have the loan paper and never signed it? Well, here's the thing. Now that
It's just going on. Oh, yeah, nah. That's nasty. That's nasty work right there.
we know it's illegal for them to start an account named Ryan Upchurch and give Ryan Upchurch cards, well, then how can fake Ryan Upchurch take a loan out? I can't. It's not even my account. Therefore, the loan is not even real anymore. Well, that falls right along with this housing fraud that everybody's talking about right now. What do you know? So tell us, Dingle.
Hold on, I should have been played this. I don't know why I didn't play this like hours ago.
Yeah.
You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, yeah. You know your name.
Nasty work, yo. Living foul as hell out here.
Dorf, how is your house underneath Blue Moon Entertainment when that is a old ass SunTrust account that is supposed to be shut down? Well, that sounds like this realty fraud. So not only was the phone used to act like Ryan Upchurch, this whole entire time that B-Loose had hired Wiles and Taylor, that's why he bounced out and needed this power of attorney. But then when he left, Wiles and Taylor was still talking to B-Loose and keeping all these passwords in, right? Sonny Bama from CDM Shift also knew about it. Reason I said, hey, Sonny, if you're sending me these invoices and they ain't got no dollar amount, why is that? And he sends me one that has a dollar amount. Yeah, they do. That one had a dollar amount. I go to look for it in the email. It's deleted. You know why? Because it's going to a different account name called Upchurch Enterprise CCD. Something I've never heard of. That's crazy because the lawyer that just robbed me of $1.6 million is very good friends with Dwight from Wiles and Taylor. And Cynthia Sherwood, the lawyer who bailed, is really good friends with John Rich. You know who else is friends with John Rich? Wiles and Taylor. They
Wow.
are such good friends that John Rich's house is in Wiles and Taylor's trust. And I'll saddle up my horse and I'll ride into a city. So Blake hits me up one day. He's like, bro, I go to this bar down on Demonbreun. He's like, and that banker dude, I heard him in there talking about your business. And I turned around and looked at him, and he said, I've never seen him before, but he's a little short, fat dude with curly hair. That's Zach, right? I said, really? He goes, yeah, I'll get there, and then he gets there after me. I'm like, really? At the time, Blake was driving my Trackhawk, right? And Blake's telling me, he's like, bro, when I leave downtown, he's like, bro, I swear to God, he's like, there's these motherfuckers following me in your Trackhawk. Like, really close, like following everywhere I go. He's like, and I have to skirt and get the fuck away from them. I'm like, are they fans? He's like, no, they're not fans. Everywhere Blake would go in my Trackhawk, people would show up at these places that hated me. And he's like, bro, I swear to God, it's like they're stalking me. So fast forward. Where is this phone found? It's found in Blake's truck at Blake's house in Nashville. And this phone is attached to my iCloud. So last night I'm thinking about all this, right? Daryl saying they're going to frame you, Blake, for killing Ryan and all this other. And Blake being like, dude, I swear to God, these people are showing up at these bars that hate you. I'm being followed when I leave the bar. They're following me all the way home to the point where I got to keep driving past my house and lose them and come back home. So last night,
Insane.
I said, we got to search the Hellcat Jeep. Something's in it. It has to be.
They was tracking him?
What do you know?
Oh, no. Oh, no. We might have to double tap.
Yeah. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, you nasty. You nasty fam, yeah. You know your name. You
Nasty work. Are they tracking him? Apple tag? That's what that is? Oh, man.
What do you know? And it's dead. Been in there for a while. The battery life on this is almost a month, right? It's hooked to a cell phone. Well, they obviously know where he lives because they've been following him back home when he parks the Trackhawk or whatever at his house. Well, that's how they knew where to ditch the phone. They were using the phone to watch where he was going. They thought he was me, and it wasn't, and they were getting confused. And they ditched the phone that they were in my email with, that they were texting with, that they were sending Google, what's it called? Hang on. That they were sending non-Google linked logins to, all from this. And I'll be damned, Deardorff, if you did say that Blake would be framed for something. Not anymore.
That's disgusting. What's wrong with these people? Yeah, nah, that's nasty as hell.
And let's go back to John Rich real quick. The same John Rich that his house is in Wiles and Taylor's trust. The same weirdo, Dwight specifically, is on his house. That's in his trust, right? The same mother that almost beat the brakes off of him one day because me and my old lady are over there at the little bank place he's got, Wiles and Taylor, and for some reason, he looks at my kid and goes, that's going to be my baby.
What?
I looked at my wife, I said, did you hear what the he just said? I said, you mean turn around and this dude up? She goes, no, let's get the out of here. Well, that's weird because John Rich is sitting in the middle of Cheatham Middle School. I would not want that sitting nowhere near kids. So yeah.
That sounds wild.
You're all. I'm finna be one of the richest in the state of Tennessee. Yes. I just uncovered. You don't know it yet, but I
100% take these niggas to court. They nasty as hell, bro.
I just uncovered the biggest fraud ring ever in Music City history. By the way, John Rich, the whole town's talking about your little weird elevator you got. So let me quote one of the best cops in Cheatham County, Officer Darius. In the words of Officer Darius, welcome to Cheatham County.
Damn, yo. Yeah, these people have no limit to how low they're willing to go. It's pretty nasty. Wow. Y'all, I lost my mind. These people are disgusting. But that's my opinion. Tell me what yours is down in the comment section.